afternoon, my CX friends, colleagues. Good morning. Not sure which part of the world you're going to be watching this another edition of the CX Chat Show. Today we have Lina Yahya, who's the head of service excellence at RAK Bank. She has been a key player in redefining the CX strategy, service quality goals, and objectives into a journey of excellence. She has partnered with both internal and external stakeholders, including the Dubai Economic Department, to help build an ethos of customer focus and engagement across various channels through the implementation of various programs and initiatives. Most importantly, Lina has played a very, very crucial role in RAK Bank winning the Dubai Service Excellence Scheme Best Service Performance Brand Award for Banking Service Business for 2 years in a row. So that's a commendable job. It's not easy to win two consecutive years. And more importantly, she's also played a very, very important role in the much coveted Dubai Quality Appreciation Award under the patronage of His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Lina has over 17 years of banking experience across various retail banking functions, including auto loans, Islamic banking, and setting up the cross-selling platform for the bank. Lina, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on today's edition of the CX Chat Show. Welcome to the CX Chat Show. How are you today, Lina?
Thank you very much. I'm well. Thank you for having me. It's my honor as well to be here today.
Fantastic. Lina, we are all been going through a totally unprecedented, unexpected kind of a situation. It's been very, very tough for almost everyone, who have been facing, client-facing, customer-facing, or even in the back end of various organizations. Now, as a person who has been championing and leading customer experience for an entity like RAK Bank, now, how do you see the need of customization of your services based upon the customers you serve during these pandemic times?
So the power of personalization, in my perspective, Sarfaraz, is huge. And investing in personalization is really essential to build relationships and create better experiences that can really pay off rewards for brands. If an organization can achieve a personalization in their organization, I think they would win far more rewards than they expect. Simplicity in personalization is very, very important, and it's a key to establish both repeat and loyalty across their customers. If you look around us today, whether it's Simplify, Amazon, Netflix, we're surrounded by personalization every day, and we expect from every single organization today, whether small or big, whether it's banking, whether it's restaurants, whether any kind of industry across the world, we really expect it to personalize it based on our needs and behaviors. Based on a study in Accenture, 91% of customers say that they're more likely to shop with brands based on customization of offers and recommendations that are really relevant to them. So, for example, from my end, based on my spending patterns, based on my family size, based on my status within the country that I live in, I expect every organization or every company that I deal with to really personalize their communication that are relevant to us, their offerings, their marketing tactics across the board as a customer based on what I need and want.
That's a lot of insight, quite an interesting insight which you gave or shared is the 91% of shoppers field or they prefer brands which provide more personalized offerings based upon their needs. And that's a very, very interesting thought. Now, how crucial do you think technology has been playing a key role in this personalization of offerings or solutions, specifically in the banking industry, Lina?
Okay, so delivering, I think, relevant, timely, and personalized customer experience today is no longer a competitive advantage. It's actually expected from every organization, and in particular banks today. But many companies or many industries, I think, struggle to make sure that it is both scalable and effective for customers, and to ensure a consistency as well in the preferred manner, time, and channel that is relevant to the customers. And this is where technology plays a big place. Or a big step in enhancing customer experience and ensuring that it's consistent across the board. AI and machine learnings help today revolutionize, I would say, these tasks in all industries, and they give in best practices. They build in based on RPAs and chatbots to really build a deeper insight of what customers need or want. And I think the adoption of this is very crucial because it enables companies to research what their customers want, what do they want to hear, what do they want to even think or be told across their journey. And it also allows the consistency of this experience, which I think is really important to maintain it across the levels of interactions, the level of services, and minimize as much as possible the errors in their experiences or in their interactions, because it really gives you a more holistic view and a proactive view to ensure that these kind of errors are limited or eliminated. Chatbots, in my perspective, is a little bit tricky because I believe it's very important to have a smooth handover or a transition between both a personalized experience that requires human intervention and that element of emotion that is required for every organization across the board. So as simple as your processes might be, there will always be that step where a human intervention is required to really make sure that that experience is seamless and you don't move out of that channel that causes that customer to be frustrated. So I think that balance is very, very, very important. And organizations really need to think through before they implement any of these technologies. Can you hear me,
I think I lost you for a while.
Sarfaraz?
I lost you for a while. Are you
Yeah.
there? Okay, I
Okay.
just briefly
I'm here. Can you hear me?
lost you for a
Okay.
while. I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So where did you lose me? Did I complete my sentence?
I think it was just the last bit I lost you, but then we were having this conversation about you beautifully brought in the aspects of AI or
Yes.
chatbots and how the human intervention is definitely required. Now there
Yes.
is a lot of
Very important.
conversation that is happening uh, around CX, and I mean it's been going out for quite some time. Now, do you think
Correct.
that AI or chatbots or RPAs are going to be more of a catalyst to enhance customer experience, or do you think they are going to be replacing the human interaction? So, where do you see the balance of human interactions and technology? What would be the perfect combination, according to you, Lina?
Yeah, so there is no doubt that organizations have changed in the way they interact with their customers, and they will continue to adopt in the future months and years ahead the new technologies and the new channels based on customer trends and based on customer behaviors in order to adopt these interactions in a seamless way. And this is a never ending cycle in my perspective. It will always be based on what your customers' expectations, what are their priorities, what are their needs. They might be requiring new technologies, they might be requiring new channels to be engaged with, and you need to have that scalability in order to be able to adopt these across the channels. In my perspective, these new innovations and initiatives will not replace or will not basically completely isolate contact centers and branches at the in banks and in industries across the base. The goal is always to have a meaningful connection with your customer, and I think that will always require a human element and a human interface, regardless of the technologies that we implement. Like for the example that I mentioned in chatbots, there are always simple answers that you can respond to customers and eliminate that human interaction. But there will always be a requirement for a customer in case of any doubt, in case of any personalized request, that they need that smooth and seamless transition into a human interface. Let's not forget, at the end of the day, emotion is what connects people. And that will never be available, or it might not be fully available in technologies across the board. So physical engagement will always drive building relationships, establish that emotional connection. And we might use them in a different manner. We might end up using contact centers and branches in a different methodology altogether in the future. But in my perspective, we should never think of eliminating these kind of channels, because it really builds that rapport with the customers across the base.
Now, a personal experience which I thought I would want to share in this, especially
Yes,
because you said emotional connect is what drives
absolutely.
customers. A simple smile or a very simple gesture, good morning, how was your day, from a human,
Absolutely.
when they visit your branch, or even to when you go to your nearest grocery store, that brings in a smile, and that makes you visit that branch or visit that store, and
Often.
make you become a loyal customer for that particular person
Absolutely.
or for that particular branch. Now, I
Absolutely.
personally, I've changed my home branch just because the person with whom I was banking with moved on to a
Moved.
different branch,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and he was with the same bank. He was with the
Yeah,
same bank. He just moved on to a different branch, and I moved my home branch to the branch where he was. So
I
that's the
totally agree.
emotional connect, I think, which we are talking about.
I think people always will build that competitive advantage against industries across the board. So when you work on your culture, on your people, and you make sure that they really understand what's important for customers, I think it would complement and beat any kind of technological interaction for customers, because at the end of the day, it's that connection. Like you rightly said, I have certain people across the industries that I focus on. Whenever I want to really get something, I'll just go to that same person that really dealt with me in a very different manner, or in a very um, I would say not professional, but also very extended support. I'm trying my best to help you regardless um, of the scenario or the purchase that you do, and that's very, very important.
Totally agree with you on that, Patlina. Now,
Yeah.
another thing which we have been hearing back and forth, probably you might also agree to the fact that the traditional CX tools like contact centers or branch operations, especially the branch operations in
Yeah.
telcos or in banks, there's been few predictions, and we have also seen COVID has resulted in a lot of bank branches being closing down, or minimizing their operations. Now, do you think these traditional channels of engagement of operations, will it be a thing of a past, or do you see it is going to be replaced, or it will continue but with more enhancements?
I think it will definitely remain. And like I earlier said, you should always look at the entire journey and entire customer base, and understand where your customers really enjoy those experiences and touch points. You are catering to a multi need or customer base. All your fingers are not the same. We still have a percentage of customers that enjoy that interaction at the branch, or will always be contacting or calling contact center whenever they need that support. It's how you complement the movement of customers into your digital channels, but at the same time complement them with your branches and contact center to always keep that emotional interaction. I think it will always be a requirement across industries, not only banks. But it has to be in the right area. It has to be in the right methodology that customers want. And like I said, it has to complement your channels rather than be a touch point that customers result to at the end when they have no other option. You need to complement them together so that you have those channels as a support mechanism to customers.
I think that was beautifully put across. Complement your channels. I think that is the key. What I would recommend, even not just for bankers, but it could be for any other industries or across industry. Complement each other. That's
yes,
the bottom line. Now, we're all living, or I would say, we are all going through the most hardest phase of our entire lifetime. No one would have imagined this kind of a situation, and we all pray that we don't get to see, or the next generations don't get to see anything of this sort. But having said this, we need to be prepared for the worst for the coming days.
Absolutely.
Now, as a CX leader, what changes do you see customers have gone through or are going through in their expectations when it comes to post-pandemic customer experiences, Lina?
I think the most important thing is customers want their brands that they deal with to be there for them during these times. And when I say there for them, it means not focus on another sales pitch or focus on achieving a business result or achieving a business objective, but rather be there from a support mechanism and asking customers, what can we do to support you during this time? A clear example is something that we did in RAK Bank, for example. The first thing we did the moment we identified that there was a pandemic, customers were not able to reach out to us through branches, through of course through contact center they would reach us, but they wanted that support mechanism. We immediately changed our approaches to become more of relationship managers across the board, whether it's contact center, branches, salespeople. We all started connecting with customers and understanding what are the challenges that they are facing that they might require to continue to do during these challenging times, and be able to find ways to support them. And I think it doesn't only apply to banks today, it applies to any organization. It's to understand what customers really require during these times and really be able to be agile and quick in responding to what these customers want. And at the end of the day, these are the times that customers will remember, because these are the times that they were challenged and they were not able to do their traditional needs and requirements, and they were forced to think in a different way. And I think if you see in the UAE and across industries, I really feel that the companies and industries have really been very agile and quick in trying to really respond to something that no one has ever faced before. And it's also a learning that we need to really set ourselves ready for anything that can come our way. And I think this was the biggest learning in 2020 across industries, that people really moved up their scale and they pushed themselves in ways that they were not pushed before, because they were faced by a challenging time that was never expected. And I think relationship, I keep on saying relationship, that connection with your customer is the most important thing that customers will always remember.
Precisely. Now, one last thing, Lina, we have all probably in the last 6-8 months, we have gone through, ups and downs. Now, I would want you to, as an individual who's very, very passionate about customer experience, any 2 instances where you felt, wow, I've been wowed by the kind of, customer focus and the kind of customer experience that I have received. It could be from
Absolutely. I
your.
actually have a recent experience, to be honest. So you know that children have all moved to e-learning on the e-learning platform,
True.
and my son's tablet failed him during a class time, and he was very frustrated, and he was really upset that, I'm not able to hear the teacher, I'm not able to do my homework. So, on the spot, I had to, after work, get up and head to a mall. Although I'm not a very, I'm more conservative about going out at this time. So I went into the mall. It was evening because I thought it'll be less crowded. I just thought I'll go in, get a tablet, and leave. And the tablet that he wanted required specific cabling. And it was almost reaching to 10 p.m., when the malls are closing. And I entered this particular store, and the person could actually see from my body language that I was a little bit stressed out, not able to find the right cables for the tablet. And I had the tablet in my hand trying to read it. Proactively came in and asked me, how can I help you? You seem like you're a bit lost. And I said, well, I'm trying to find the tablet for this. And he's like, oh, we have this tablet. Did you get it from here? And I said, no, I didn't. I got it from another store. He's like, no worries, don't worry at all. And he literally took the last, it actually crossed 10 o'clock. I still remember. He went out of his way, got the cabling, the connections, the speakers, the headset, everything. Helped me connect it even live right then and there. And he asked his manager to give us an extra 5 minutes to make sure that I'm happy with the items before I leave. And I know he was a bit in a hurry because it's policy. He even gave me his card and said, you know what, once you go home and try it out again, if any issues, just come back to me and I make sure it's done tomorrow morning. And I went back home extremely delighted that I was in a stage where I didn't know what to do, and someone just read from my body language and came in and made sure that I left with what I needed, even though it took an extra 5-10 minutes of his schedule. And now I know that if I ever think of anything, I'll go to that right person at that mall, at that specific shop. I would never shop anywhere else anymore, and that really gives you that delight, which is fantastic. And I think that extra method to read your customers, or that extra step that he has done, will always be in my mind.
And I think that's a beautiful story you shared. And the brand and the individual,
Absolutely.
they have won a customer for lifetime.
Absolutely. For life. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that's basically sums up the whole reason why we are
Yeah.
having these CX chat shows.
Yes.
Sharing ideas,
Absolutely.
sharing insights, and how
Absolutely.
important it is to engage and understand each other's.
Yes.
Get into the shoes of your customers, understand their pains, understand where they're going through, and then
Absolutely. And Sarfaraz,
solution structure.
it reminds us one very, very important aspect is investing in our people. It's the
Absolutely.
person that really makes that difference. And if you really are an organization that wants to focus on customer experience, in my perception, always start inside out. Focus on your people, understand their pain points, initiate the environments that they need in order for them to be productive, and for them to feel that, I would say, accountability to really understand our customers. Because at the end of the day, no matter what technologies you build, no matter what journeys you map, if your people are do not carry out this experience in a positive manner, of course, like we said earlier, complementing the technologies, one experience might make you lose a customer.
Totally,
And that is
totally.
the most important. So investing in people, empowering them to really become the accountable face of the organization, I think these are the first two steps to ensuring you have a long-term success when it comes to customer experience.
Now, you brought in a very, very interesting point of, taking care of your internal resources, your employees. And,
Absolutely.
many organizations do understand the fact that employees are your biggest brand advocates.
Absolutely.
And the key to any successful organization is the kind of employee experience which you are able to build as a company, as a core
Absolutely.
strategy, and that's where you also continue delivering customer experience. So if you're taking care of your internal customers will take care of
Will
your
take care of
external
your
customers.
absolutely. It always starts with voice of employee, and then it builds on and complements with your voice of customer. And you always need to have that balance. You always need to monitor both your voice of employee and voice of customer and see where are the gaps that you allocate, because these will be the first areas that you need to look at and fix, basically, in order to have that consistent customer experience across the board.
I think that basically sums up our conversation over here, Lina. It was an absolute pleasure to have you
Same here.
on board on another edition of the CX Chat Show. Inshallah, we look forward to have more personal and I would say physical conversations, physical events going forward. Thank you for your time once again.
Thank you so much, Sarfaraz.
And look forward to have you on our board of events, inshallah.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Take care.
Thank you, Lina. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you.